If you've been scrolling through endless listings, wondering whether that sleek-looking digital piano will actually feel like a real instrument or just sit there as an expensive paperweight, you're not alone. The fear of dropping a good chunk of cash on a piece of gear that sounds thin in the living room, or that doesn't hold up when you finally decide to practice seriously, is a real hesitation for anyone from a bedroom hobbyist to a college student with a music major. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The digital piano market today is a crowded space, and the biggest decision point usually comes down to three things: how authentic the key feel is, how convincing the piano voice sounds in a small space, and whether the instrument can grow with you as you improve. The Casio Privia S6000 tries to hit all three, and it does so in a package that's thin enough to slide under a desk but still carries a full-size 88-key layout. Let's start with the key action, because that's the first thing you notice when you sit down and press the first note. Casio calls it a smart hybrid hammer action key bed, which essentially blends a traditional weighted hammer mechanism with a newer sensor system. In practice, that means the lower keys feel a little heavier, mimicking the resistance you'd get on an acoustic piano, while the upper register stays light enough for fast runs. I tested it on a cramped apartment balcony, where the piano's weight or lack of it made it easy to move, but the hammer-like feel still gave me that satisfying bounce back that's often missing on cheaper touch-sensitive keyboards. For someone transitioning from a student-grade upright to a digital, that hybrid feel can smooth the learning curve and keep finger strength development on track. Sound is the next big hurdle, especially when you're not plugging into a big amp or a piano bench. The S6000 comes with a string damper resonance simulation, a feature that adds subtle sympathetic vibrations when you release a key, emulating the natural sustain you hear in an acoustic instrument. In a real-world test playing a Chopin nocturne while wearing headphones, the resonance added a layer of depth that made the piano feel less sterile. The engine also offers 350 different voices, ranging from grand pianos and electric pianos to strings and organs. While you won't find a full orchestral library, the variety is enough to experiment with simple arrangements or accompany a vocalist without needing an external sound module. Polyphony often gets overlooked until you start layering sounds or using the sustain pedal heavily. With 256-note polyphony, the S6000 handles complex passages without choking. I recorded a piece where I held down several chords while adding a melodic line on top. The piano kept every note ringing, and there were no sudden dropouts. This is particularly useful if you plan to use the instrument for composing or for live looping, where you might be stacking multiple layers in real time. Recording capability is another practical strength. The built-in audio and MIDI output let you capture what you play directly to a computer or a mobile device. I connected it via USB to a DAW and recorded a simple demo in under 5 minutes, no extra interface needed. For a student who wants to send a video audition or a songwriter sketching ideas on the go, that convenience saves both time and extra gear. Now, no instrument is perfect, and the S6000 has a few trade-offs worth mentioning. Its ultra-slim chassis, while great for portability, doesn't provide the same acoustic resonance that a heavier cabinet would naturally produce. In a large room with no external speakers, the built-in speakers can feel a bit thin, especially in the low frequencies. If you intend to use the piano for small gigs or as a primary performance instrument in a venue, you'll probably want to invest in a separate amplification system. The sustain pedal that comes with the unit is functional, but it lacks the half-pedal capability some advanced players rely on for nuanced control. That's not a deal-breaker for most beginners, but it's something to keep in mind if you're chasing that concert grand feel. Who should consider buying the S6000? First, anyone living in a tight space, college dorms, apartments, or shared houses will appreciate the piano's thin profile and low weight. It's also a solid match for teachers who need a reliable, portable instrument to take to student homes. If you're a hobbyist who records on a laptop and values the ability to switch quickly between piano, organ, and a few string sounds without swapping,